Number 15, A113. Disney has put a secret message in several films in the form of numbers, a secret message that only someone who works at Disney would understand. Well, and now all of us who are in the know, the code A113 appears in every single Disney movie. If you were to watch all the movies and catch this secret message, you might find it creepy and a little frightening. You might ask yourself, what does it mean? Are they trying to tell us something? You might start spinning out, going crazy, trying to find out what this code means, why it appears everywhere, from Toy Story to Finding Nemo to Monsters University, and loads of other Pixar Studios and Disney picks. It turns out this code leads back to Disney headquarters when employees become visual artists at Disney. They take classes in room A113. Number 14, Illuminati. Just when you least expect it, the Illuminati appears, this time in the form of secret messages in the classic cartoon The DuckTales. In the Yuppie Ducks episode of The DuckTales, which aired in November of 1989, a sign appears in the background of the scene with the ominous phrase, "Ask about Illuminati." In the episode, Scrooge McDuck heads to the doctor to get checked out because he's not feeling well. In the background of the doctor's office where Scrooge is undergoing his examination is an eye chart. You know, one of those charts with the big E on the top to check your eyesight. Only this time, the chart is no innocent eye chart. It's a message telling children to inquire about this top secret group. The creepy secret message is fuzzy, so ironically, only those with good eyesight would make it out. The eye chart message is found in multiple scenes during the Yuppie Ducks episode, and this episode aired during a time when the general public weren't aware of occultism so much, including the Illuminati and Freemasons. Was one of the DuckTales graphic artists trying to get the word out? Was he or she warning us? We'll never know, but this isn't the only controversial secret message that appears in the DuckTales. Several different hidden symbols appear in the franchise's movie as well. Number 13, The Devil's Dog. Eagle-eyed viewers of Disney movies have noticed that a number of the Disney characters do a similar hand gesture known as the Devil's Dog. Everyone from Jasmine to Snow White to the fairy godmother to Cinderella has been spotted using this gesture that's tied in with Satan worshipping. The gesture appears like the devil's horns, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. As most critics say, if it had happened with a character or two, it might just be a coincidence, but being that it pops up in a number of films, it does seem quite suspicious. Is Disney trying to tell us something? Number 12, Don't Drop. The horrors of prison life shouldn't be a punchline in a kid's show, should they? Well, SpongeBob has no filter. In one episode, SpongeBob innocently hands Gary, his pet, a bar of soap. Then, with a big beaming smile on his face, he gives Gary a wink and tells him not to drop it.
Look, doubloons! Don't drop them.
Don't drop the soap, as most know, is a warning not to get assaulted in the prison shower. Bending over to retrieve your soap puts you in a vulnerable position, thus the phrase. So why does this disturbing line appear in what's supposed to be a cartoon for children? Your guess is as good as mine, but what we do know is that SpongeBob has a very dark sense of humor. Number 11, Your Father Will Die. While cartoons often have moral messages for children, some want to teach children the realities of life, no sugarcoating. Don't know if that's what Disney was trying to do with the Three Little Pigs, but they did, and it wasn't very subtle. Historically, the cartoon was one of the most successful, bringing animation to life. The response from Disney audiences was huge, thus paving the way for Disney to continue churning out fairy tales over the years. If you watch the animated fairy tale from 1932, you might not have noticed the secret message, even though it was right before your very eyes. For this too, you must have a sixth sense of humor. The scene in question occurs when the three little pigs are trying to escape to the last house, the brick one, as the big bad wolf is after them. When the wolf is unable to huff and puff and blow their house down, The three pigs are undoubtedly grateful. They start singing and dancing, while one of the pigs starts playing a brick-laid piano. It's safe to say they're all thrilled that the wolf won't be able to eat them. Not all is joy and sunshine in this scene, however. For some reason, Disney animators decided it was best to bring everyone down with a detail in the framed picture behind the pigs. Why is it so creepy? Well, the picture is of the pig's father. At least that's what the caption says. Without that caption, you wouldn't be able to tell who the photo is, as it's just a string of 3 sausage links. Yep, that's right. The 3 little pigs' father was led to the slaughter, and Disney animators have memorialized him with this joke. Don't know about you, but if my dad was executed and eaten, I wouldn't be hanging a framed picture of his remains. If their secret message was, "Your father will die someday," then I have one word for you, Disney. Creepy. Just creepy. Number 10. The Care Bear Stare. Most of us remember the Care Bears as these super cute, cuddly, and colorful stuffed bears who admittedly had a thing for staring. Believe it or not, this 80s cartoon franchise originated in greeting cards. The show was as colorful and creepy cute as the cards were, with backdrops that looked like Candyland and villains that tried to light it up. Audiences of the Care Bears were often asked to participate in whatever was going on screen. A lot of future kids' TV shows, both cartoon and live action, took a page out of the Care Bear book. For instance, the guy from Blue's Clues asking his miniature friends to help him solve puzzles. But the Care Bears didn't need quite that much help. All they needed was the infinite, undying stare of children, along with happy thoughts. The Care Bears often asked their audience to beam their Care Bear stares at the TV screen. The Care Bear stare is such a powerful happy thought that surges from the mind to the eyes that it could resurrect the dead. It literally did that in the second feature-length film. While many occasions called for some stare injection of happy thoughts, like when villains needed to be taken down, for instance, on other occasions, the Care Bears were quite simply abusing their power. One example of this was when a woman wanted to close up shop early, and the Care Bears, for whatever reason, weren't on board with that. Well, guess what, Care Bears? We humans have free will for a reason, and taking over our brains with your love care stare just isn't right. In this way, Care Bears are like cult leaders. Their brainwashing tactics were a secret message to children that it's not okay to have normal human emotion, and their undying need for complete consensus and Care Bear love is nothing short of Manson-esque. Number 9. September 11th. The Simpsons is known to have predicted a number of future events, from the election of Trump to the fateful events on September 11th, 2001. They have a bit of a sixth sense, if you will. But there was another cartoon that predicted the events on September 11th, and it's kind of a random one. Does anyone here remember Johnny Bravo? Johnny Bravo was a popular late 90s, early millennial cartoon about a guy called Johnny with big blonde hair, slicked back, black t-shirt, tight jeans, and always wearing shades. I don't think he ever removed them. In one episode of this cartoon, Johnny was throwing down with another character. During their scuffle, the background shot showed a tall tower, eerily reminiscent of the Twin Towers, with fire blasting out the middle. Smoke plumes darken the scene, and above the tower, the words "coming soon" send a chill up your spine. Yikes, is there a conspiracy? Was someone trying to warn us? Number 8. Unsolved Murder. Reddit is a great place to go when you're looking for all things creepy, especially for hidden signs and secret messages in everyday things, including cartoons. One Reddit thread discussed the cartoon film, The Emperor's New Groove, and true to form, Redditors were full of theories. One Redditor, Lish94, said, while Kuzco is walking in the forest in his llama form, He sees the fly screaming, "Help me," before it gets devoured by a spider. Now this is done for comedic value in the film, but I think it's something much darker. He went on to explain that some of the animals in the film were originally human. They were turned into animals, as Kuzco was. Yzma, for instance, was a cat. Well, Kuzco was a donkey, but those animals who are actually animals aren't able to communicate with the human-animal hybrids. You see this when they were trying to communicate with a squeaking squirrel, and they only understand what he was trying to tell them through gestures. They weren't fluent in squirrel. The fly spoke as a human would. Kuzco understood the fly, so the Redditor theorized that the fly was originally human, and this spider in fact murdered him. Another human-animal hybrid out for vengeance, or maybe the spider was all animal and just out for an afternoon snack. This secret message was so subtle that the unsolved murder mystery has gone cold. Number 7. Everything must die. Teaching human beings to come to terms with passing away can be a good thing. It is a pretty profound experience secondhand, and we can only imagine firsthand. But is 4 years old the right time to have this knowledge? Probably not. Thomas the Train thinks it is. Thomas and Friends, the famed books and TV series about talking trains, placed some strange imagery into its cartoon. The TV series involves trains who think they can and do try their best, as this big man in the top hat pushes them to work harder. Once they've worked hard, you'd expect them to live a relaxed retirement, wouldn't you? The corporate man does not have any such end in mind for his trains, so where do trains go when they've aged and can no longer pull those heavy wagons of coal anymore? The scrap yard. Yep, you've heard that right. In one episode, Stepney the Bluebell engine has grown too old to pull his weight, so he's taken to the scrap yard, a massive metal graveyard where old trains are scrapped for parts, their bodies melted into new train pieces, and the rest left to rust in their living grave. The grossest part of this episode is that the animators ensured that children know how much pain, sadness, and fear the trains were in as they were taken apart and blowtorched. The even creepier part, one train in the background even had its face removed. Its face? They're like Hannibal Lecter at this scrapyard, skinning the faces of their victims. So basically, the trains are tortured alive, their good parts are harvested, and then they're left to die. Or to do whatever trains do, I don't know. And Thomas the Train isn't telling. Number 6. All-Seeing Eye and the Masons. In the Disney film The Ant Bully, two things are a bit amiss in a children's film: the all-seeing eye knitted into the grandma's sweater, and the symbol of the Masons carved into her chair back. This was discovered on Reddit, when Redditor Norman Dia posted the image of the chair back on the conspiracy board. Many Redditors commented that it wasn't strange to have a Freemason grandpa, who doesn't, while others said that it doesn't seem too far off because the grandma was obsessed by aliens and UFOs and was into conspiracy theories. Others think the writers or graphic artists were likely conspiracy nuts who just thought to hide the symbolism in there, while still others consider it highly suspicious that this symbol should appear in a children's flick. Son of Man 11, who claims to be a former Mason, said that Masonry only seems benevolent on its surface to the bottom rung members, and it gets creepier the higher up it goes. Number 5. 5318008. If you've seen the animated series Adventure Time, then perhaps you've spotted this creepy hidden message in one episode. In this episode, Ice King has frozen Princess Bubblegum's kingdom. She must defrost the kingdom before it's too late. If she doesn't succeed, all her people will be icicles. So Princess Bubblegum does what any princess would do and pores over the ancient book, looking for the counter curse to the Ice King's horrible evil. As she's flipping through the book, she finally lands on it, the counter curse, and on the opposite page, the numbers 5318008 are written, clear as day. I'm not going to spell that out for you. Just plug it into a calculator and turn the thing upside down. Way to go, Adventure Time. Number 4. Hail Satan. Dora the Explorer is an educational animated series on Nickelodeon. It follows 7-year-old Dora, who is always on an adventure, alongside her monkey, Boots, and her purple backpack. Dora seems like the most innocent of characters, big brown eyes and always with a smile on her face, always trying to solve puzzles or go on quests. But is she innocent? Or does this series have a deep dark secret? Some people say so. Specifically, those who reverse the Dora the Explorer theme song. Some insist that, played backwards, the song is sending the secret message, "Hail Satan." Of course, this is not the first time satanic messages have been discovered in songs when played backwards. A number of bands have been accused of hiding satanic messages in the reversal of their music, but very few children's shows have been accused of it. Dora is kind of on a blacklist all her own. Do you think there's a hidden message in this mumbo jumbo? Listen and judge for yourself. I'm on the fence with this one. Number 3. Gravity Falls Cryptograms. Gravity Falls is a newer Disney cartoon TV series which premiered in June 2012. The series is about 12-year-old twins, Dipper and Mabel Pines, who are summer vacationing with their great uncle, Grunkle Stan. Stan runs the Mystery Shack in Gravity Falls, and they help their uncle run it. They also uncover some mysteries that are often accompanied by the paranormal and the supernatural. At some point, Dipper finds a journal in the forest. This journal has clues to a local mystery, which they must investigate. Their friends join in the unraveling of said mysteries. The best part about the show is that during the episode credits, a cryptogram appears. The viewers then can join in cracking the Gravity Falls code. Series of episodes use different cryptograms. Episodes 1 through 6, for instance, use the Caesar cipher, named after Julius Caesar, who applied it in his written communications. The Caesar cipher replaces letters with different letters, a fixed number of spots further along it in the alphabet. For example, it might shift left 4 letters, so that letter L of the secret message would become H in the ciphertext. Gravity Falls kicks it up a notch by using the @bash cipher in episodes 7 through 13. The cipher is a mono-alphabetic cipher in which the alphabet sequence is reversed, with the last letter becoming the first. For instance, A would be coded as Z, B would be coded as Y, and so on. In the next episodes, 14 through 19, Gravity Falls went a step further and used the A1Z26 cipher. This is a type of encoder and decoder, a substitution cipher, in which each alphabet letter is replaced by a number 1 through 26. So in this cipher, A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, all the way to Z equals 26. They are separated by a symbol, like a dash or a space, so that 2 and 6 don't get confused for 26 and so on. Gravity Falls episode 20 used a combination of all 3 ciphers, and the keyed Visionaire cipher was used in episodes 21 through 40, also known as Quagmire the Third. This type of cipher uses an alternate tableau, with the message being encrypted and decrypted by an alphabet key. There's a passphrase involved, which is the code word that chooses columns in the tableau. The alphabet key places a random series of letters before the code letters, which makes the cipher hard to crack. The shorts of Gravity Falls, known as the Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained, also flash complex ciphers. They're hidden, so viewers must look out for them. A little more complicated than Little Ralphie's cipher in A Christmas Story, where he works weekly on cracking the code, only to be told to buy some Ovaltine. Some of the secret messages cracked in Gravity Falls are innocent enough, like the passcode in Season 2 Episode 1, which is caught in a jail cell, which decodes to "Welcome back." In another episode, the decoded message reads, "Mabel eats sprinkles." Another reads, "The portal, when completed, will open a gateway to infinite new worlds and herald a new era in mankind's understanding of the universe. Plus, it will probably get girls to start talking to me finally." But others are a little more sinister, a little too sinister for a children's show if you ask me. One decoded message at the end of an episode read, "The end of the world is closer than the end of the summer." Well, that's scary. Maybe it's time to build a bomb shelter. YouTuber LouTunes made some great videos on these cryptograms if you're looking to dive deeper. Number 2, what's in a name? The Lion King had plenty of secret messages hidden in its imagery and in its songs. Most of them were pretty naughty, as are a lot of hidden messages in Disney movies, but that's a whole other topic. One secret message in The Lion King has to do with the actual storyline though. The character names in the story were not just chosen at random. The original Lion King, Mufasa, took his name from the last of the Bagada kings. The name also translates to the word king in the Montezotto language. And his evil brother Scar wasn't really called Scar. This was his nickname due to, of course, the scar he had across his eye. But Scar's real name is Taka. Taka in Swahili means filth or dirt. Sounds about right when describing him. Scar's jealousy and anger led to him taking his own brother's life and trying to take his nephew's too in quite a horrible way. Stampeding seems like a pretty dirty, filthy thing to do to someone, but I suppose you could argue that Taka, aka Scar, became who he was because his parents named him thusly. If your parents named you Filth and your brother King, it's safe to say that might have done some serious psychological damage. That's not to say Scar was justified in turning into a homicidal dictator, but it's just something to think about. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. I'm currently doing a super poll on my Instagram. If you believe ghosts are real, then go to my most recent photo and tap the like button. If you don't, DM me saying why. When you're done, come right back to this video to find out the number 1 entry. Also, follow me on Twitter at YTChills because that's where I post video updates. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. This way you'll be notified of the new videos we upload every Tuesday and Saturday. Number 1, Bikini Bottom. This SpongeBob SquarePants fan theory is the bomb, literally. Some fans think there is a secret message in the name of the show's main setting, Bikini Bottom, which has also been called Bikini Gulch and Bikini Bottomshire. The city's population is around 538, but most of them are total weirdos, so it begs the question, why are they so wide-eyed and weird? Why is the sponge even walking and talking in the first place? Well, one fan theory has tied Bikini Bottom to Bikini Atoll, a real atoll in the Marshall Islands. After the Second World War, for more than a decade starting in 1946, over 20 nuclear devices were detonated in Bikini Atoll, some of which were let off underwater. A bit creepy, but this might explain the mutated characters in SpongeBob SquarePants and their crazy eyes and even crazier personalities. Sometimes fan theories seem like they could definitely be spot on. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because we upload new countdowns every Tuesday and Saturday. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of our other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy!